sleep at
30 seconds to billboard.
Get any sleep?
Yeah.
Sleep on the plane?
Yeah, a little bit. Literally, we took off, I fell asleep, landed, woke up.
Well, that's pretty well.
I usually don't sleep that long on a plane. I usually, while we're going up,
10 seconds to billboard.
last night wasn't
All right, I'm here, Dylan.
Alrighty, we are in the billboard now.
On the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield, this is Red Raider Baseball with head coach Tim Tadlock. Presented by Rudy's Barbecue. Also brought to you by Bud Light. It's for the fans. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit Rudy's.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. And by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Register for your chance to throw out the first pitch at RedRaidersContest.com.
Victory bells are going to ring again!
It is a great day to be a Red Raider.
Red Raider Baseball is presented by First Bank and Trust and Prime West Mortgage. Now, here's your host, Jeff Haxton.
Good evening, Red Raider Baseball fans, and welcome to Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock here on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield. Jeff Haxton away from the mic today. Jamie Lent filling in for Jeff as he's off to the Big 12 tournament with the Red Raider basketball squad. Well, joined by the star of the show here, Tim Tadlock, the head man of the Red Raiders. And, Coach, I guess I'll ask you the question you've probably been asked a few times today. Did you get any sleep last night?
I think we did pretty good, really, for finishing a game at 1:30 in the morning. Hour and 20-minute flight. Most of the guys probably slept on that and got in our beds around a little before 5 a.m. And, yeah, I think we got plenty of sleep. I think we're, really pretty spoiled, really. You think about it. You finish a game at 1:30 and you get back to Lubbock a little bit after 4. I remember back in the day, I think taking a bus to Houston 10 or 11 hours. And don't remember the ride home, but I remember the ride there. It was a tough one.
Yeah. So I know you've been a part of a lot of games as a player, as a coach, all the above. What's the longest innings game that you've been a part of?
It's right in there. I would think last night was pretty close to it. I probably don't do real good remembering stuff like that. But I'm going to say 16, 17 innings right in there.
Yeah, I know in the 15 season, you guys had a 16-inning game against ACU in a midweek game. So that ties, I think, in your Tech career, the longest.
We had one haboobed out, too.
Yes, I do remember. I remember that as well.
Sure did.
It's Lubbock. Things like that will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, we'll get into a lot of different things today. We'll look back at last week. We'll look ahead to a week upcoming for you guys. You'll play New Mexico tomorrow, 2 o'clock first pitch, and then you'll get after it with Iowa coming up this weekend here at home. We're only about 10 or 11 days away from the start of Big 12 play already. It feels like time has flown by.
You bet. Spring always does that. It's you start playing games and kids are going to school, and just the day-to-day definitely always. It's always really enjoyable, but it does go fast.
Yeah. But before we get to all that, I guess I just want to talk about the topic of the day and last night's game. And going deep into a game like that, what are some of the challenges as a coach that you have with your players? I mean, not only are you worried about all the situations and changing guys in and out and who you have to keep just in case you need a pinch hitter or a pinch runner, all of those things. But I don't know. I mean, you're talking about 18, 19, 21-year-old kids. The focus sometimes an issue there in such a long game?
Oh, I think last night it actually was okay. Thought actually the guys made the effort to go win the game, just didn't, get the results we wanted. And, really the challenge last night was when we pulled one of the young shortstops, we pulled Burns because he just had 4 really rough at-bats and went to Tracer. And then we had Green hamstring get tight. And so we really, so we took out Green, and anyway, we got really left-handed. Yeah. And that was probably the biggest challenge last night, and they stayed left-handed, kind of knew we were in that predicament, and that was probably the biggest challenge late last night. You just really couldn't. The only decision you could have done, I mean, really, the thing we were talking about doing was putting Hudson out in the middle infield and just kind of getting him out from behind the plate, which in hindsight we would have done, and which would have been really good to do, but we didn't do it. So, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, so in a game like that where it's, it's neck and neck, obviously you're tied as you're, 6 innings extra, 7 innings extra total. Is that good to be able to, early on in the season, to put some of your players in those situations?
I think there's a lot of good came out of it. Really, Kyle Robinson came in through the ball really well. Crowley came in through the ball really well. Lysick came in through the ball really well. Beckel threw the ball really well. Jarrett Curtis comes in, steals a base. There was a number of things that that are going to translate hopefully later on, and getting those guys in some situations where there is some pressure, if you want to call it, high leverage situations, is always good.
Do you think the guys had fun playing in a big league ballpark and getting to face off with, some big name teams like Michigan and A&M?
Yeah, I do. I think it was, I think all 3 days were very enjoyable. Really, the night game was probably, other than the result of the game, was probably a little more enjoyable just because the 11 a.m. game kind of takes, it's just, it's an early morning for the guys. We don't normally play at 11. Not too often, even though we have a little bit this year. And the night games were very enjoyable, good crowds. Those people down there in Houston do a really good job with the tournament. I think our guys, I think they enjoyed the competition. Last night, I know they were really doing everything they could to pull that game off, and just it's one of those things. It's when you're running a game like that, you always feel way more responsible. To me, I always look back, go, golly, really messed that one up for them, because there's a few things I could have definitely done to, change the outcome of the game, and that's the way it goes.
When you look at the rivalry with the Red Raiders and the Aggies, I mean, as a fan, as a former player that played against A&M, it feels big to all of us. Do you feel like it's the same thing with the younger players, since they've not really lived in an era where the Red Raiders and Aggies are playing against each other?
Yeah, that's interesting to me, because I didn't really feel it when I was playing.
Okay.
I mean, we wanted to beat everybody we played and wanted to play at a high level, and so I don't know that I've ever gotten into the rivalries as much as some. To me, like, if you put the uniform on and you go play, you do everything you can to respect the game and respect your opponent, and know that your opponent's going to bring their best each day. And to me, true competition is wanting your opponent to bring their best each day, and that's really what it's about to me. And but no, the A&M Tech deal on the Texas Tech deal, I don't know that. To me, it's a game. You need to go play the game the right way.
Coach, you mentioned Kyle Robinson a little bit earlier, and you and I have talked in our pregame interviews, and you had mentioned Kyle and kind of wanting him to get back to who you had seen in the fall and the spring, and maybe he wasn't, quite there right now early on in the season with his first couple of outings, but you had to be really happy with what you saw from him last night.
Yeah, he was outstanding. He really was. I don't know how many innings he ended up throwing.
6.
6 innings, as was their guy.
Yeah.
Their left-hander was just
terrific.
as good. And both those guys were really filling up the strike zone for the most part. And that's the Kyle obviously we'd love to see, each week.
Beyond that, a lot of different guys were used in the situations last night, and Damian Bravo was the guy who came in the ninth, and Damian's been really good for you guys his first couple of outings. How much can he learn from a situation like he was in last night?
Yeah, I think he can take a step back. Probably the biggest thing is just have a short-term memory. I mean, he's been a kid ever since we've seen him pitch, like he always makes a big pitch when he needs to make it. And last night, you're sitting there with 2 outs and a man on second that got there really from a wild pitch. And, you're really a pitch away from executing, and the game being over. And then a guy gets to third. I don't remember how. We walk a guy, and then we go 3-0 on the guy. And I guess, from that point on, wasn't very good, really. Probably should have just let him try to go get the guy, even though it was 3-0. It's, you're not talking about pro baseball and guys that, when they get a fastball all the time, they square it up. And, that's one thing I look back at is like, maybe should have just let him try to get back in that count.
Well, like I said earlier, a guy that's been good in that role so far for you this season.
Yeah.
And you're showing a little confidence in him at that point. And
yeah, I mean, we really, throughout the whole inning, felt really good about it. He just, what I think, is probably lost on it is, you could go to Kyle, could have went to Rogers. Those guys were pretty much slated to throw tomorrow. And so you're trying to do things, it's no different bringing Zane Petty in against Michigan. So one out, you're trying to get the guy a little experience and trying to let him go in and execute some pitches and really trying to look at the big picture for the whole year, trying to be able to utilize everybody and trying to be stronger at the end than you are at the start. And, pitch counts are a big part of that. And,
sure.
Getting Trendon out there on Saturday was a big deal. I mean, at where his pitches were. And so there's a rhyme to all the reasons.
Yep.
Just sometimes it doesn't work out.
All right, we are here at Rudy's tonight with Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock live from Rudy's Barbecue. We'll continue after these messages. This is the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield.
West Texas weather.
Clear, break 1, 4 minutes.
Damage your roof, there's only one company to call. Andrus Brothers Roofing. ABR has been in business for over 35 years and are part of the Lubbock Area Roofing Contractors Associations. So they'll do the job right. If it's not ABR, it's not Andrus Brothers Roofing.
Andrus Brothers Roofing, we nail it every time. Quality guarantee, Andrus Brothers Roofing, every time.
ServPro of Southwest Lubbock knows your home is one of the most valued assets you'll ever own. So, if you're ever faced with fire or water damage, make your first call to an insurance professional and your second call to ServPro at 806-780-6311 for fire and water cleanup and restoration. Or visit servpro.com for more details. ServPro of Southwest Lubbock will treat your home right and make water damage like it never even happened. ServPro franchises are independently owned and operated.
For 10 years, the West Texas Land Guys have been turning land into dreams. West Texas Land Guys specialize in developing raw land into builder-ready master plan communities. Having developed hundreds of acres across 10 successful communities in the Lubbock area alone, West Texas Land Guys is one of Lubbock's premier land developers. Whether you're thinking of selling land or want to buy a lot for your dream home, we've got you covered. Visit westtexaslandguys.com to see how we're developing the future.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Wiley Implement can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Come see us at Wiley Implement to find a Farm All that's right for you.
I'm Scott Wiley. We'll try hard to earn your business, but even harder to keep it. That's it. That's all.
You know Metal Mart is the place to get all the metals you need for your big projects. But did you know Metal Mart also offers building kits? We're talking 24 by 24 from $7,699 to 40 by 60 at just $25,999. Plus all sizes in between in 8 different colors. With a 30-year warranty on color walls and 20 years on Gavilan Plus. Your job just got a little easier with your new building kit from Metal Mart. Check us out at 4309 Idalou Road or metalmart.com. Metal Mart, the right materials for the right price.
Looking for the best Texas Tech gear? Then shop with the official retailer of Texas Tech Athletics, The Matador. We have everything Texas Tech at shopthematador.com and enjoy free shipping. Shop for Under Armour coaches sideline and on the field players gear. Shop for brand names like Texas Tech Yeti drinkware and stylish, trendy game day wear. The Matador is proud to be locally owned, alumni, and student operated. We are loyal and passionate about Texas Tech. Shopthematador.com.
Before I took the field. Before all the trophies. Before the video game. Before the no-look pass. Before the success. Before it all, McGavick Nissan treated me like an MVP. Patrick Mahomes here from McGavick Nissan, reminding you to enjoy the ride.
At First Bank and Trust, our story
30 seconds.
And it continues because of you, our customers, our communities, and our neighbors. We are proud to be a small part of your success. But where does your story start? Where do you want to go? Whether starting a business, saving for the future, or launching your ideas to the next level, we want to help you take your first steps towards something big.
10 seconds.
Our bankers today. At First Bank and Trust, we see potential, ideas, innovation, growth everywhere.
Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
We welcome you back to Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock here on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield. Coach Tadlock and his Red Raiders went 1-2 in the Shriners Children's College Classic, and now getting ready for a series coming up this weekend with Iowa and a midweek one game with New Mexico. Tomorrow we're hosting the show here from Rudy's tonight at South Loop 289 at Slide Road. Wipe the sauce off your hands, turn up the radio, and enjoy some more Rudy's barbecue. Coach, let's go ahead and look back at the week that was for you guys. First, a couple wins against Air Force, and obviously a lot has happened since then, but 2 wins against Air Force in the midweek, one of them a little bit tighter, the other one, the first one a 9-4 game, but then you really got the bats going in the second one. Just kind of look back, were you pleased with the way you guys continued to put together quality at-bats, and really after the Blessy having to come out of the game on Tuesday, the way your bullpen really stepped up in that game?
Yeah, that was really kind of uncommon when both starters go down within the first couple innings, and that happened. So, yeah, and obviously walking away from those 2 games, going to get on the plane to go to Houston, you felt really good about it. And guys were in a good spot mentally and physically for the most part. And, there's obviously, from the weekend, there's things that we can learn from. And there's also things from the Air Force games. Really fun playing Air Force. Just their coach is a real treat. And I think their kids are just a mature group of kids. Right. You could kind of tell during bat practice, just listening to them and watching them move around. Just very mature group, very respectful of the game of baseball, and obviously serving our country and doing things that, that a lot of college kids aren't doing. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's something obviously you want your kids to see, your players to see how they handle themselves, to see how they treat the game of baseball and their opponents and all those good things.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to respect all your opponents, and I think there's probably something you can learn from all of them, and those guys do a good job. I mean, obviously they got a lot more on their plate than just college baseball in school, and probably flying some planes and doing some stuff like that. And so it's just, again, it was fun playing them.
Coach, I want to go back to that first game. When you bring a reliever into the game, a lot of times you'll talk about wanting to give him a clean inning where there's not base runners on base. But Josh Sanders came into the game. I believe the bases loaded with 1 out. Brandon Beckel came into the game later with a couple of runners, I believe first and second, nobody out. And both of those guys were able to hang zeros in that inning. How big was that for your team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when Sanders came in, that really could have And that really kick-started the day and the series off the right way, getting the double play ball there in the first inning. And Beckel did come in and make some big pitches. And, he's going to have the ability to do that. I mean, he's got a wipeout, breaking ball and above-average fastball. And so, and Josh is, he's been executing pitches. And so, yeah, it's really cool to see those guys do that.
It feels like right now you've got a lot of guys in the bullpen that are really starting to step forward and look maybe a little bit more comfortable than they were, in those first outings, and I guess that's expected.
Yeah, I think as you go and guys kind of learn their roles and kind of learn how to get loose down there, kind of how to move around during the game and kind of figure out, watch the game, figure out when their spot might be and all those things. Yeah, I think as you go, guys should get better.
Coach Gardner obviously works with your pitchers, and part of what, a pitching coach does is work on executing pitches and, mechanics and the fundamentals and all that go into it. But it's also the mental side of the game. And sometimes as a pitcher, when you're out there kind of, by yourself out there on the mound, that's got to be a difficult part of it. Is that even more difficult for guys who are coming out of the bullpen because they don't always know what their situation is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we talked about that with Zane Petty on Saturday. He's probably watching the game as a spectator there for a little bit, and then he gets a call that he's coming in the game. And he's probably trying to figure out why he's coming into the game. We got a 5 or 6 run lead. And then he comes in the game and really doesn't execute a whole lot of pitches and probably speeds up on him a little bit. And it's probably the old saying, control what you can control. Just go out and execute pitches and do the best you can. And, I think we've actually seen guys sometimes pitch better in those situations, because they know they got to come in and execute pitches.
While we're on the subject of your bullpen, it has always appeared like those guys have a lot of fun down there. Last night we saw them, ring around the rosy going on there.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
We see them climb the walls after home runs and get a tip of the cap from the hitter that's hitting the home run. You enjoy seeing those guys down there having a good time?
I mean, it's better than sitting around for sure. I mean, it's I don't really know what they had going last night. I did see the video, and as long as they're ready to pitch and their bodies are ready when we call them, for the most part, we're probably fine with it. And I'm sure there was a little bit of a rally dance going last night. That's probably what that was about. I mean, in a 16-inning baseball game, sitting in the bullpen, you probably got to find something, something to do.
I think I saw them make some signs at one point. They were holding up signs that said runs.
Yeah. Yeah, we were saying the same thing.
Yeah. Looks like those guys have a lot of fun. Have you ever had a pitcher get injured climbing up on the wall?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, that's good to hear.
That is good to hear.
All right, so you do take the 2 games against Air Force. Really, the second game, you guys really got the bats going. You scored 18 runs in that contest. And, boy, it looked like just up and down the lineup, guys were kind of feeding off of each other and really putting together some really good at-bats.
Yeah, I mean, it was, again, a Wednesday. Guys they were looking forward to playing, came out, put good at-bats together, and that's a good day. Got to get a bunch of guys in the game.
Yeah, and how nice is that for you to see as you get guys in there that maybe are not getting as many at-bats as other guys and not playing as much on the weekend, but when they do get their opportunity, you see them working hard in practice every day and to see it come to fruition and to see them have some success.
Yeah, ideally, you look at the lineup card and the guys that aren't in the lineup, you go, man, you'd like to get that guy in there. Ideally, you look at each name and you go, guy, he's working hard, he's prepared, he's ready to go. And going into that Wednesday, definitely it was something in the back of our mind, like, hey, if we can get some guys in this game, it'd be good. But as soon as you tell them that, it doesn't work out. So you just go play and play the game the best you can, and it did work out that day. It doesn't always do that, though.
Yeah, and it's we talked about the mental part of pitching, but the same thing with hitters that are not in the lineup every day. They still have to be ready, and it's the special guy that can come off the bench in a key spot and still, even though he sat there for 6 or 7 innings, come up and put together a good at-bat for you.
Yeah, we talk about Anthony Lyons all the time.
Man.
I mean, Anthony really embraced being a pinch hitter, really understood how to do it. It's what he wanted his role to be as time went on. And, again, it is very unique to find a college baseball player that's good at it and that'll embrace that role. And I don't know that you want them all doing that right now. You want them competing to play and getting that lineup. But when they do get at bats, it's like I've been paying attention what the Rangers got going right now. The Carter kid that they took in early rounds a few years ago. He just keeps putting good at bats together. And if you keep seeing guys put good at bats together, eventually you go, hey, let's give him a shot.
Yeah, give him a little more time. Yeah, Anthony was a terrific pinch hitter for you guys. It was always good to see him come off the bench. Good teammate.
He was a great teammate. He really was.
Yeah, that's always was fun to see.
I think he's going to be a lawyer.
Well, we knew he was going to be
He's
successful.
in law school.
That's great.
Yep.
That is great. All right, this is Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock. Coming up next, we'll look a little bit more about the first 2 games of the Minute Maid series down there in Houston. Coming up next, this is Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield.
Clear break, 4 minutes.
But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
College baseball isn't just about a game, it's about pride. Pride for our Red Raiders who leave it all on the field every game. Pride for Texas Tech, a school that has shaped the landscape of West Texas. And pride for Lubbock, a community that shares a passion for our hometown team. At Plains Capital Bank, our commitment to Tech baseball runs deep. Supporting our community is just a part of who we are, as a company and as individuals. That's why we're in the crowd cheering on the Red Raiders at every game, because at Plains Capital Bank, we're proud to be here too. Plains Capital Bank is a proud partner of the Texas Tech Centennial. Welcome Tech, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Texas Tech baseball coach Tim Tadlock. Our coaches and players compete each day to represent Texas Tech at the national level. Red Raider Club members provide the necessary resources to be our best. Thank you for giving to the Red Raider Club and supporting more than 400 student athletes through scholarships, academic support, nutrition, sports medicine, and much more. You are the lifeblood of this department. Wreck 'em.
At Reliant, being a part of Red Raider Nation means more than just cheering on the team. It's about being a part of a community that supports one another. As an electricity provider, it is our commitment to every customer. And it's as strong as our Texas roots. It's our promise today and for generations to come. We look forward to teaming up with you. Reliant, proud partner of Texas Tech Athletics. Reliant, PUCT number 10007.
What does it take to make the perfect brisket? Baseball and barbecue lovers know that the perfect brisket needs the right wood. Rudy's smokes all of their meats using their delicious signature rubs in 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fix today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com.
At Simmons Pump and Supply, pumps are our business, but people are our passion. Your water supply is critical to the well-being of your crops and your family. When it comes to irrigation and house wells, no other product has been designed by and built for West Texans for 66 years. The next time your well stops producing, make sure your contractor calls Simmons Pump and Supply for the highest quality solution for your water well applications. Or visit SimmonsPump.com to find a contractor in your area. And most importantly, wreck 'em Tech.
Stay up to date with all of your favorite Red Raider teams. Find everything you need on TexasTech.com, including scores, schedules, game recaps, and much more. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even Snapchat. Be sure to use the hashtag WreckEm to join the conversation. If you have any questions about your favorite Red Raider team, visit TexasTech.com or call 806-742-TECH. Texas Tech Red Raiders, fearless champions live here.
Red Raider fans, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance wants you to throw out the first pitch at an upcoming Texas Tech baseball home game. Register to win by visiting RedRaidersContest.com. Opportunities to throw out the first pitch are March 14th versus UTA, April 1st versus TCU, and May 6th versus Sam Houston State. Winner will receive 2 game tickets, a pregame
10 seconds.
The ceremonial first pitch. Enter to win by visiting RedRaidersContest.com and be a VIP thanks to Texas Farm Bureau.
This is Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock. We're live from Rudy's tonight. Red Raiders 11-2 on the season after the weekend that was in Houston. Tech wins 1 of 3 games, falling to Rice in a 1-run game on Friday, taking care of Michigan 10-7 on Saturday, and then, of course, the marathon of 16 innings last night against Texas A&M. Coach, let's go back to the Rice game on Friday. Parker Smith, really good for the Owls on the mound on Friday afternoon, and it looked like he kept your hitters guessing, and his fastball was pretty good as well.
Golly, yeah, going into the game too. I mean, we had 3 kids that played with him in the summer out in Santa Barbara, and we all felt pretty good about it, about how we'd handle him, and he's just grown up and really went and executed some pitches. Really good fastball, good slider. Was really impressed with the way he threw the baseball. And then also, like everything that day, it just seemed like one of those days where really think they did a good job playing to the ballpark that day. The wind was blowing out to right, it's kind of blowing into left. They pitched to that side of the ballpark, and then they hit it to the other side of the ballpark, hit 2 balls out to right field.
Right.
Very unique to me just watching that game. I mean, literally we kept going, why is their shortstop catching the ball up here by the grass? Like every time Gage or one of those Carter, somebody hit it to him, you're like, and you watch him, he'd really walk in quite a bit. And but like, you know, a lot of times when you do that, you cut your angles down.
Sure.
Well, it seemed like that day the ball was going right to him every time. And it's like, by the time I looked up, the ball was in his glove. And I was like, man, like usually those are kind of bang-bang plays on our guys. And they just did a really good job with their positioning and with pitching on one side of the plate to me. And, I mean, tip your hat to their team and their staff. They had a good plan.
Brendan Girton was the starter for you guys on Friday afternoon. He took a no decision. Brendan really good early on, and kind of got himself into, it looked like there was some command issues there, but, you know, kind of settled in after that. What did you see from him?
I tell you, I mean, we're having a lot of fun watching Girton develop into what he's going to become. He's a kid that's very diligent about what he does, and when he throws the fastball down, it's just it's really good fastball. It's going to be hard to hit. It's got a little sink to it. It's got some late life to it. And then when he throws the fastball up, there's an occasion where it's got some ride. So the combination of those two, you mix in a breaking ball. He's always had a hard slider and change up, and the way he fields his position and holds runners. Again, you just want him to keep coming and just keep trusting the process and trusting his stuff.
All right, move on to Saturday, and you guys take down Michigan 10-7. The thing that really stood out to me in that game was your starter, Mason Molina. He goes 6 innings, gets ties a career high with 11 strikeouts. But after a rough 3rd inning, really came back strong after that. The 4th, the 5th, the 6th inning, he faced just one more than the minimum, and that base runner reached on an error. Did you feel like after seeing him kind of struggle after some issues the week before that he took a good step forward for you there?
I tell you, yeah, I think we really did. I mean, he went out and commanded the ball from the start. And you're right, he did have a rough inning there. Can't really remember exactly how that inning was created.
The pop-up within the infield that landed near the plate.
So, he had to go get 4 or 5 outs in an inning, and, which is always impressive. I mean, I remember back in the early 90s, I was associate scout for the Padres right when I got into coaching, and a guy named Scipio Spinks taught me. He said, in the Padres system back in the 80s and 90s, they would keep up with the starting pitchers, the runs they would give up that were unearned, because they just felt like the kids that, wanted to win and would execute pitches wouldn't give up unearned runs, wouldn't give up a whole lot of them. And to me, that's what I think of when you think of, Mason pitching through that inning. He just kept executing pitches. And, of course, I guess you got to come up with something when you have 5 or 6 teams and you're evaluating, all those pitchers. And so they come up with all these different analytics to look at. And you really think about it, though, guys that, that win, they pick their teammates up. That's the simplest way to put it.
Yeah, sometimes your defense is going to make a great play for you to pick the pitcher up, and sometimes the pitcher has to return the favor, so to speak. And I just thought Mason did a really, really good job after that.
Yeah, threw the ball really good. And Michigan, it's Coach Smith does a good job, and they're going to have good teams. And they had a rough weekend this weekend. But they're very athletic and had some strength and some speed in there.
Do you remember seeing a game where there were so many issues with the outfielders in the sun as there was in that one?
No, that's the first thing I thought of when you said, what do you think of? I was thinking, man, there's a lot of fly balls in the sun. And one of the guys I played with literally texted me the next morning. He's an outfielder. He goes, hey, have you heard how the center fielder is? And I almost felt bad because I hadn't asked. And so I guess we need to figure out. You could literally hear it on the field. You could hear it hit him. And so the sun was high, which was interesting in a stadium. You wouldn't think that the sun would play in center and right, but it did.
Yeah, you guys caught a couple breaks because of it, and credit to Austin Green, who both times really hits the ball in the air, but he runs hard.
Yeah, and I mean, really, what gets lost in that game is Ty Coleman comes up as a pinch hitter and gets on one pitch, and we scored 2 or 3 runs at that inning, and really builds us some margin for error to bring Petty in and to get him into the game and to get Parrish out of the game.
Right.
2 sides of that. And in that inning, I mean, Cade McGar comes off the bench and drives 2 runs in. It ends up being a 10-7 game. Is that right?
Yep, correct.
And I think they had the tying run on deck when the game was over. And so, those things are at this point in the year, or really at any time, the more margin for error you have, the more guys you can get in games, and and you can create competition, and also guys kind of get rewarded for the work they're doing. And I mean, it's so early. I mean, we all think back to guys like Zach Reams. They sit around for a month and they're not in the lineup. Next thing you know, they're hitting 5th.
Yeah.
And driving a bunch of runs in, and
hitting 17 homers.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You want that whole roster on both sides of it. Just doing their due diligence and just waiting for that opportunity.
All right, coming up next, we're going to get to some of the questions from the audience today, and we'll look ahead at the upcoming series for the Red Raiders. This is Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock, live from Rudy's on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield.
At Reliant, be
Clear break 3, 4 minutes.
more than just cheering on the team. It's about being a part of a community that supports one another. As an electricity provider, it is our commitment to every customer, and it's as strong as our Texas roots. It's our promise today and for generations to come. We look forward to teaming up with you. Reliant, proud partner of Texas Tech Athletics. Reliant, PUCT number 10007.
Another season of women's and men's college sports is underway. Follow your alma mater or favorite team in their pursuit of the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2023 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
What does it take to make the perfect brisket? Baseball and barbecue lovers know that the perfect brisket needs the right wood. Rudy's smokes all of their meats using their delicious signature rubs in 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fix today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com.
Red Raider fans, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance wants you to throw out the first pitch at an upcoming Texas Tech baseball home game. Register to win by visiting RedRaidersContest.com. Opportunities to throw out the first pitch are March 14th versus UTA, April 1st versus TCU, and May 6th versus Sam Houston State. Winner will receive 2 game tickets, a pregame field experience, and throw out the ceremonial first pitch. Enter to win by visiting RedRaidersContest.com and be a VIP thanks to Texas Farm Bureau.
This is Texas Tech Athletics Director Kirby Hoka. Red Raider fans are some of the best and most passionate fans in the nation, and there's no denying it. There is also no denying that supporting our sponsors is one of the best ways to support the Red Raiders. Year after year, when businesses support the Red Raiders, they help provide funding for the many needs in Tech athletics and make games like the ones you're listening to on this Texas Tech radio network possible. So next time you're in need of a product or service, show your Red Raider spirit and support the companies that support Texas Tech.
College baseball isn't just about a game, it's about pride. Pride for our Red Raiders who leave it all on the field every game. Pride for Texas Tech, a school that has shaped the landscape of West Texas. And pride for Lubbock, a community that shares a passion for our hometown team. At Plains Capital Bank, our commitment to Tech baseball runs deep. Supporting our community is just a part of who we are, as a company and as individuals. That's why we're in the crowd cheering on the Red Raiders at every game, because at Plains Capital Bank, we're proud to be here too. Plains Capital Bank is a proud partner of the Texas Tech Centennial. Rackham Tech, member FDIC.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
30 seconds.
This is Mark Adams, head basketball coach here at Texas Tech. Teamwork drives our program, and Red Raider Club members are a part of our team. You provide the necessary resources to compete each day. Thank you for giving to the Red Raider Club and supporting more than 400 student athletes through scholarships,
10 seconds,
nutrition, sports medicine, and much more. You are true Raider power. Reckham.
This is Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock, live on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield. We've got some time for some questions now for the head man of the Red Raiders. All right, Coach, first question is from Mike. Said, what do you hope to take away from playing on a big stage like we did this past weekend?
I'd say the big stage was really, the pitching we faced. And you want to try to make some adjustments and really just hitting good pitching starts with taking the fastball away and really just going in and trying to stay in the big part of the ballpark in big situations and taking care of the fastball. And obviously the less chase you have, the better you're going to be. And as far as the stadium and all that stuff, I thought the guys handled that just fine. I didn't think there was any big deal. And so, I guess you had a few guys maybe on the mound that might have affected possibly, and really just try to take away that the game's the same if you can just get it to where it is the same.
Simplify things a little bit. All right, along those same lines, this is from Brett, did Texas A&M and Rice throw their best starters against us?
I don't think A&M did. The guy they threw was up to 99.
Yeah.
He was a bullpen guy, though, last year. Like the video I watched of him last year, he's pitching in Omaha against Oklahoma and Arkansas. And so he's a bullpen guy last year. Now, he's really developed into he was commanding 3 pitches last night, and he was commanding the fastball. Ice, I would say, definitely threw their best guy, but it was on Friday, so that's what you're supposed to see. But it's really cool also just from a standpoint of watching that young man. We faced him last year as a freshman and hit him a little bit, and we probably had more command of the game than he did. This year he had more command of the game. That's really what you want to see, with hitters or pitchers. And that young man, I mean, he's gotten better, no doubt about it.
All right, this one from Anna. Coach, do you see any changes to our Friday, Saturday, or Sunday starters?
We hadn't really had a chance to talk about it today. I mean, really, I think it's always something we'll talk about. We talked about at the start of the year, really trying to sometimes give guys weeks off and maybe come out of the bullpen and just look at different things. And to do that, everybody kind of needs to be firing on all cylinders, and guys need to be executing pitches. And so it is something like, that we'll look at week to week, and we'll look at it here when guys start throwing their sides here tomorrow and Wednesday.
We've talked about Gert and Molina already, but Tabor Fast was starter yesterday. We hear when we talk about hitters, clutch hitters coming up, hitting with runners in scoring position or big moments late in a game. It felt like Tabor was clutch yesterday in that he was coming up with his best pitches with guys on base or with guys in scoring position.
Yeah, he's a guy that can really be efficient. I mean, we've seen him against our guys just really go out and execute pitches and get you out in 3 or 4 pitches and get the ball on the ground or strike you out and really keep you off balance. He's definitely hasn't hit his stride. He definitely is a guy that is going to command the fastball and is going to command a couple of secondary pitches and very athletic. I think he's a guy that's going to swing the bat before his time's done. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next, but really good baseball player. And thought he persevered through the other day, and I thought Hudson did a really good job of throwing some guys out, kind of getting us out of some jams, and the guys turned a few double plays.
All right, this question here from Mike. Are there any health issues with the players going into this week?
I don't know how much I'm supposed to say specifically, but, yeah, we've got a few.
Got a couple guys
we've
dealing
got,
with some stuff.
If you watched the game last night, or if you didn't watch the game, Cash had an ankle that was bothering him.
Yeah, you could tell.
And he actually, anyway, it was bothering him. He stayed in the game, and then Green came out of the game for something. And so those guys, we'll have to get them going. And but for the most part, it's again, that creates opportunities for other guys, and we've got a lot of depth on our roster. It's a twofold deal to me. Like I'm fine with giving those guys a day as long as the other guys are ready to go.
All right, another question that I had for you, Coach, and this is kind of off subject here. Next year, the Big 12 expands. You'll have more teams in your conference.
Yeah. How many?
13,
14,
right?
14.
Well, you'll have 13 that play baseball.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, 13 that play baseball. So what do you think they will do with the schedule? As far as, are you going to play every team?
No, we're not playing every team.
What do you think we'll see?
I think we have it.
Okay.
I want to say it's 3 non-conference weekends.
3 non-conference
weekends.
Okay.
I want to say it's 11 weekends if I remember right.
Of conference.
So you're not playing everybody.
So 2 teams each?
Yeah, it's like split up type deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look at it.
Okay.
I'm trying not to look at it. I'm trying to enjoy the league the way it is right now. And we get to that point, we'll start dealing with that, start looking at the schedule and where we're going and all that good stuff.
All right, what are your thoughts on the 4 new programs that are coming into the league? Anything jump out at you there?
Going to get to travel some places never been, for sure. I mean, Cincinnati, not sure I've been up that way too many times. Flew over, is it Provo, Utah?
Yes.
Flew over that one time.
They look like
wasn't actually there. I guess I flew into there and then flew into Jackson Hole in a little crop duster. With my father-in-law and mother-in-law and my wife. It's been a long time. And so, to me, like it's an opportunity to see some places in the world that you haven't seen, which is cool. and so I think the league's going to shape up. I think it's going to be a good baseball league. It's obviously going to be very competitive in football and basketball, and I'm sure all the Olympic sports, and so it'll be just fine. But I want to enjoy playing playing the OUs and the Texases and all that right now. I mean, I think our guys like doing that.
Do you think each of the current members of the Big 12 Conference will play 2 new teams, or is that not
split
necessarily
up.
the case?
It's again like I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
So I'd have to be on point. I'd have to have it in front of me to tell you exactly what.
Well, I'm really excited for you to go and play in Utah. There's a mountain right behind the stadium, Coach. It's gorgeous.
The ball to fly for sure.
Yeah, it should be really cool.
It should.
All right, we'll come back and look at the matchup with New Mexico tomorrow and look ahead to the weekend with Iowa as well. You're listening to Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock, live from Rudy's on the Texas Tech Sports Network from the airfield.
Clear final break, 4 minutes.
Every time we do one thing and we do it well. Since 1981, yes, time does tell. It's not just a house, it's your home. For quality work, we stand alone. Andres Brothers Roofing, we nail it every time. Quality guarantee, Andres Brothers Roofing, every time.
At First Bank and Trust, our story started in 1996 and it continues because of you, our customers, our communities, and our neighbors. We are proud to be a small part of your success. But where does your story start? Where do you want to go? Whether starting a business, saving for the future, or launching your ideas to the next level, we want to help you take your first steps towards something big. Call or email one of our bankers today. At First Bank and Trust, we see potential, ideas, innovation, growth everywhere.
Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
West Texas Land Guys is one of the region's premier developers with projects in Lubbock, San Angelo, and Abilene. West Texas Land Guys have developed hundreds of acres and 10 communities in Lubbock alone. To see some of our work, visit the vineyards at Escondido or come see us in the 2023 Parade of Homes in Sedona. Whether you're thinking of selling land or want to buy a lot for your dream home, we've got you covered. Visit westtexaslandguys.com to see how we're developing the future.
At Interim Home Health and Hospice, we provide one-on-one attention to patients in their own homes. We have been caring for Lubbock and the surrounding areas with personalized hospice care for 20 years. West Texans proudly serving West Texans so you can rest, feel, and live well. Call us at 806-791-0042 or visit us at interimhealthcare.com. Interim Healthcare, the champions of your health.
Life is unpredictable. It can get crazy. It truly takes a team to make life happen. That's why ABC is my bank. Their mobile app keeps me on track so I can bank on the go. When life throws me a curveball, I can always count on them. Bank on better with ABC Bank.
Member FDIC.
The Texas Tech Alumni Association stands stronger than ever before because of the thousands of alumni who are committed to our great university. We began with our first graduating class in 1927, and nearly a century later, we continue to serve Texas Tech through programs, services, and scholarships for all of our loud and proud Red Raiders. We appreciate our loyal alumni for making a difference. If you're not a member, consider being a part of our story into the next century. Belong today. You're one of us.
ASCO equipment knows roads don't wait, job sites don't wait, and deadlines don't wait. That's why at ASCO, we're on it, faster than the speed of our customers' needs. So no matter what you're digging, grading, or loading, we've got a full line of Case Construction equipment to help you get the job done. You can buy or rent, and we'll service and support. And because it's Case Construction equipment, you know it'll be comfortable, powerful, and versatile. At ASCO, we're on it, whatever it is.
This is for the men who never settle.
30 seconds.
And still pull out the big stick. The type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera. And the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge Man.
10 seconds.
It's Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Thanks for joining us tonight for Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock here on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield. We got just a 3 or 4 minutes remaining with the coach. Coach, tomorrow you guys will take on New Mexico. Feels like every game that you guys play against the Lobos is usually pretty competitive, and they're off to a great start this season, 9-2.
Yeah, it's looks like they're playing really good. Looks like their offense is clicking, and they're going to throw a junior college kid out of Arizona tomorrow, and should be entertaining. Should be a good game to watch.
Have you guys decided who you're going to start tomorrow?
We're actually, I was just reading a text that Burkholder was wanting the same thing, so maybe he's listening. So we're starting Zach Urban.
Okay. All right. I thought you were going to tell me you were starting Burkholder, and then I was going to be a little nervous.
No, we were going to start Kyle Robinson.
That changed.
Yeah, that's what we were going to do. So that kind of got thrown out.
All right, and then later this weekend, you've got the return trip from Iowa as the Hawkeyes come to town, and they're off to a 9-1 start. 2 really competitive games up there last year.
Yeah.
Excited to see them come to town?
Yeah, I really am. I think it's going to be a really good test for us. I haven't really dove into looking at their pitching, and I know their team from last year was a really tough group. I thought they played us really good. They had a couple real guys on the mound. I do know, just for entertainment purposes, I know they got a wide receiver that's pitching for them on Saturdays. I think he's been up to close to 100. Really good arm.
Yep.
And so that means they got a really good arm on Friday, and I think it's going to be a really good challenge for our guys. They were, to me, they were close to being a tournament team last year. I mean, when we went up there to play them, it'd have been interesting if we'd have played on Sunday. I think we ended up splitting with them, and it was so cold. I think we decided not to play on Sunday, if I remember right.
I think we decided to go a day late and didn't play Friday.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And we played Saturday.
Yeah,
and
so it's a good challenge, going into last week before conference.
Yeah, really jumping off the screen there. When you look at their schedules, they already have a win against LSU this year, 12-4 in Round Rock.
In Round Rock, yeah.
That's impressive.
What day of the weekend was that?
That was on Sunday.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, Saturday.
Yeah, that's probably the guy who's throwing 99 wide receiver. So
yeah,
maybe Coach McGuire's got a couple of those hanging out over there.
Some wide receivers that can throw?
Yeah, throw 99. That'd be good.
All right, Coach. So obviously a big week for you guys, and as we talked about earlier, you don't have much more time before you get into Big 12 play. You'll play a couple midweeks next week as well, and then Oklahoma State next Friday.
Yeah, it seems like, just flies by a little bit. And, but I think the guys are really enjoying it. They've really enjoyed the games. This group's been really good about their preparation, been really fun to work with, and really looking forward to, just seeing how they handle a little bit of the adversity we've had, in the last 24 hours. And even though I think the travel was quite easy, and
right.
For a college baseball team, be able to charter back's pretty nice, and sleep in your own bed. And they've had 24 hours of rest, should be ready to go.
All right, appreciate it, Coach. Thanks for your time tonight, and good luck this week.
You bet. Appreciate it.
All right, you've been listening to Red Raider Baseball here with Tim Tadlock. Appreciate Coach's time tonight. Remember, 1:30 pregame start tomorrow, 2 o'clock first pitch. This has been Red Raider Baseball with Tim Tadlock on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield.
You are clear.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
You've been listening to Red Raider Baseball with head coach Tim Tadlock.